Okay, hey guys. We're doing a session today with Remo or Remo. I'm not really sure. I'll have to ask him. And we're gonna have some fun. So remember, if you want to get one of these, exclamation point get in the chat will get you to the link. Anyway, the link to get to the session page is in the description. So if you want to check that out, feel free. We're just waiting for Remo to get set up. Hey.
Okay, does this work now?
Yeah, this works.
Okay, great.
Great. So you can hear me all right, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I have your solves here. I saw your form. You said you wanted to work on cross efficiency and planning first pair.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll take a look at your solves. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me and ask at any time.
Okay.
Okay, so I watched these earlier and I saw some stuff that I like to point out. So I'm going to go through at 0.25 speed and point out some stuff.
Mm.
So on this first one, you're doing yellow. And it looks like with this one, you had a pretty good cross solution. Like the only thing I would have done differently for cross is instead of cube rotating to solve this, I would have done D prime, R2, D prime. But that's not a huge thing. So you do R2, D2, and then, okay, then you go into green and orange pair. That was really good. So throughout these solves, you're really efficient. You do really good F2L stuff most of the time. It's just sometimes it takes you a while to recognize it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you did that pair. I'll show you. So you do this green and orange pair. And then you've got this blue and red pair, and you just take a second to spot that and then go into that. So that's a spot where when you start learning how to look ahead, that will be really helpful.
Yeah, I just usually like drill TPS, and my problem is I can't look ahead into F2, even if I try to do like slow untimed souls, it doesn't just work out for me.
Well, I think that you've got the harder part right, which is being able to be really efficient, and now being able to do it with less pauses is going to come naturally. And yeah, for part of that, you're going to have to slow down and look ahead. So one thing I just point out here is you did this green and red pair, but this blue and orange pair is another really good option that's worth looking at.
I probably didn't see that. Like,
yeah,
I just go for the most straight up easiest pairs that I can see.
Yeah, and that's normally a good thing. I'm just pointing this out because you don't have to cube rotate for the blue and orange, but for green and red you do. So you do that well, and then I think you spotted that while you're doing the pair and looked ahead for that pretty well. Then, yep, your OLL's good. And then this is the other thing that I saw a lot during the song.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, the cube rotating during PLL, and I think it's just a bad habit, but I'm not really sure.
It probably is.
Yeah, so that it's good that you know about it, because that's actually not too difficult to fix. And that's holding you back a little bit. I saw that you left a comment that said you cube rotate so you don't do U7.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's what I'd recommend doing to practice not doing either of those is when you get to PLL, just wait and just look and don't do anything until you know exactly what you have to do. And eventually that will get to your recognition just as fast as if you did cube rotations or U moves.
Yeah, I think I should practice that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely worth practicing. So that was 1272. So that was a pretty good one. Okay, let's see what you done on this one. Okay, this one looks pretty easy, but we'll see what you did. Okay. Yeah, this is the one thing. I'm not sure if this was a mistake, but you sort of solved 3 of the pieces and then had to go look for this last one. And it worked out all right, but sometimes that can slow you down quite a bit.
And that's also a bad habit. I sometimes don't look for a full cross. I just look for the easiest, some pieces. I'm actually a semi-CFOP, VFOP user, but for this average, I just try to use CFOP for the most times.
So okay, that's interesting actually. So if you're doing free FOP as well, then instead of if you're doing free FOP, then you should try and build a 2x2 block, which is 2 cross pieces and the F2L pair, because let's see. So if you're doing free FOP, it should give you basically an X cross or something like that instead of just having it be part of your cross. So, but I think in this case it worked out all right. But if you're doing CFOP, then it's important to plan out your entire cross.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so then you have blue and red, and you do that really well. And then, so you have green and red and blue and orange, and those are both good pairs, but you'd have to cube rotate for both of them. So you do green and red. That was really good, and actually sets up your blue and orange. I'm wondering if you spot that actually. Okay, it looks like you didn't quite spot. So you have your green and orange and your blue and orange. And you could solve the blue and orange first, but I think you missed that here. But that's all right. And then you solve that well. Sledgehammer is good. And then let's see. So how many, do you know close to full OLL or?
I don't know the awkward shapes and some of those. I know 40 and not the dot cases either.
The dot cases are are fine to not know because they're really rare. But something like this, so I can't really get the shape. The shape doesn't really show up well from this angle. But let's see. Actually, I can pull up a diagram for it. So
It seems like to be like a lightning bolt with one corner on the top.
yeah. So I'm just gonna pull up the algorithm. Let's just find this. So yeah, it was an awkward shape. Let me see. Yeah, so you had this one right here. And that's from this angle, it's just back soon and then F sexy F prime.
Oh, okay.
So like I don't expect you to just remember it from that, but that's an easy one to learn if you're up for it. So but it's fine that you did to look. And then you do your pi OLL. And then you have this A perm. And this time you do a good job of just lining it up and then solving it. But yeah, it's if you're planning on going with more of a free flop style, that's definitely interesting, and I think that has a different approach than
I don't actually want to go with it. It's just my natural. When I see like an FTO pair in inspection, I usually do like a 15 move cross just to preserve that. That's my bad habit.
Well, if you're going to, I mean, you can do that more efficiently usually, and usually that's actually worth it. So if I can try and show you some more efficient ways to preserve F2L pairs, that will be good. I actually saw on one of your solves that I think it was actually this one because you have this pair right here that you tried to preserve it. Okay, let's see what you did here. Okay, I think this one you mostly did good stuff, but you accidentally put the red edge in the orange spot and then had to fix it. But I can actually show you what I would do here. So, let's get the right angle. So, from when you have your red and orange right here, blue right here, and then greens in the back on bottom there. What you can do is I would start with green in front. I would solve orange and red with F prime B, then blue with R prime. And then your pair would be right here. I'd do L prime, and then U2 L2 to solve green. And then that would preserve the pair. But I think it's really good that you are trying to preserve the pairs, and that's something that you can definitely experiment with and get more efficient at. So you can see there, yeah, you accidentally put red in the orange spot. And then you fix that and then solve red. So then I don't see any great pairs, but let's... Okay, so you rotate, and I think, yeah, you're going to do green and orange. So you solve that. That was a little bit locky, but the solution was good. And then you've got green and red here, or blue and orange right there. You do blue and orange. That was very good. And then for this, I think that's like the solution is good, but you did an extra cube rotation, and then you had to do that F prime there, and that was kind of awkward. But other than that, your F2L efficiency was pretty good. I've never seen this algorithm before, but it looks nice for that OLL. And then you do your lefty J perm, and that looked pretty good, and that was okay 17.8. And I'd say that was a good solve, except for the one mistake on cross. Other than that, your efficiency is really nice. So this is your fourth one, I think. And if there are any specific scrambles that you want me to actually like do the scramble and try and see what I would do for cross or anything, just feel free to ask. Okay. Okay, that looked like a really nice cross there. That one was good, and then it leads you into this first pair really well. Solve that. Then you've got, I think you're going to do green and, okay, you're doing blue and red. So let's see, what would I do in that situation? So for this, with orange in front, I would do a U so that your red corner's in the back left. Take out this edge with L prime, U prime, L. And then that makes it set up to just insert in the back. But what you did, I think, is all right. And it actually ends up giving you this pair. And if you had spotted that, let me just show you. If you, because this pair was already connected and could just go into the back left, you actually don't have to cube rotate here to solve the blue and orange. You see, you can just do L, U prime, L prime. And then, let's see. So here you insert your edge, and it gives you all your edges oriented. Do OLL. This is all nice. And then here, I think, yeah, another example of the cube rotations. Oh yeah, and this is the +2. So that 14.22. So far you've got a lot of really nice efficiency, especially during your F2L. Just some of the main things are the cube rotations during PLL, and then sometimes there's some issues with cross, but you're doing pretty well. Okay. This scramble looks a bit harder. Okay, you did that cross really well, actually. And unfortunately, that doesn't really give you any great option. Actually, what did you just do there for that pair? I was going to say that it didn't give you any great options for your first pair, but it looks actually like it did, because you've got your corner and then the edge right there. So that's nice. And you've got this pair, I think. Okay, so this is the same thing as on your last solve. There is a better F2L solution for that. Where you just do U prime and then RU R prime to take out your edge, and then you can keep rotate and insert. Okay, then it's not super easy to spot, but right after this, after you insert the blue and red, you've got blue and orange, and you can solve that without cube rotating. And so that can be nice to spot. And I think that would be easier than... Okay, that you did spot that, never mind. And then you've got this case. And you solve that well. So again, your efficiency is looking pretty nice. Do your OLL. And then you've got this G perm. And this one was nice. Because your AUF was nice. There were no cube rotations during PLL. So do you use the RUD algorithms for all of the G perms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use it for GA and GD. And then GB, I use just the regular one. And GC, I use the R2, F2.
I wanted to learn that for this GC, but I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, I think the R2, F2 is definitely faster for GC, but the R2 wide U prime one is faster for one-handed, so I use both for different things. Okay, let's... Okay. Yeah, this one definitely looks easier. It looks like you just have to insert the green and then swap the blue and red. And I bet you'll do some first pair stuff with this as well. Yep. You did. So you solved your block here, and then you fixed those two. And there is a better way to fix those. So for the fix the blue and red, I do R, D, R prime, D prime, R. And that will fix those two edges, and I think that's better than F2, U prime, R2, etc. But I think that your strategy for this one was really nice with building the block. Okay, so then you do green and red, so for this, what you can do is you can do U prime and then R, U prime, R prime to separate them and then cube rotate. Or you can cube rotate and then do U2, R, U prime, R prime to separate them. And I think that would be the best way to minimize cube rotations for that F2L case.
I actually have an algorithm for that. I don't know why I didn't use it.
Okay, so actually I know some algorithms for it, but let's see what angle you had. what algorithm would you use here?
Well, rotate to red, U to F on a sexy F prime insert.
Okay, that's good. Like I use that when I wouldn't have to cube rotate to get to that. I don't know if there's anything great for this angle with orange on front, but with blue on front, with blue on front, there are some nice algorithms and stuff. But I think the way that you did it is fine still. So then you've got blue and orange or blue and red, and I think blue and orange is the. Yep, you solve blue and orange, and then blue and red. Okay, that was good. And then you do this OLL, and you're going to get your corners, I think. Yep. And then here's another example with the Q rotations. So for this, for the U perms, you can either, like for this, you can either do U2 and then your algorithm and then AUF, or there are different algorithms for it when it's in the back, and those might be worth learning as well.
I actually learned them after submitting this video, so I actually know them now.
Okay, that's very good. I use those all the time. They're very helpful. And like we mentioned, I mentioned the technique to avoid cube rotating during PLL. So that was a 13.2. So you had a bit of a rough stretch with some 14s, and now I think you're getting some 13s again. Okay, let's see what this one looks. Okay, just on first glance, you've got two edges already solved on white. Yeah, I think white looks pretty easy.
Wait just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. So, just before we look at what you did here, I would actually start with orange on front. So you've got your green here and your orange here. I would do U prime, R2, F, R prime, and then D prime, and that would solve everything. And I think you did something that was pretty short but similar, or pretty short but a little bit different. So D2, okay, so you solve all those and then rotate and solve that. And that, yeah, I think that's about the same. So here, we go back. So now, at this point, you're done with cross. And you're from this angle. And I think from this angle, you can already spot your green and orange pair right here. So I think you can work on spotting that instead of rotating to spot it, because then that's just an extra 2 cube rotations. And then, let's see, here you got blue and orange. And again, you can solve that without cube rotating. So what you can do when you have, let's see, when you have blue in front is you can do U and then L prime UL to connect the pair, and then you can insert. Okay, then, yep, you spotted that. And you actually get kind of lucky here that You spot this quickly, and then the way you did it orients all of your edges. So then you get this OLL. And I just noticed, actually, you do this cool push right here with your index finger for that. That's cool, actually. And then you do your Y perm. And so I think that actually, I was thinking of this when I was watching the solves earlier. I think that was probably your best solve in the average in terms of the skill, in terms of like your solutions and stuff. So that was 12.8. And I know your best one in this average was 12.5. Okay. This one looks a bit harder. In 1 second, so you're doing yellow here. You solve. Okay, yeah, that looked good. Sorry, it just took me a second to see what you did there, but that was a good solution. Then I think you've got this pair. Wait, no, okay. Green and orange was good. And then you've actually got 3 pretty nice options. You've got green and red here, blue and red, and then blue and orange. But I'd say green and red is the best because you won't have to cube rotate. So I can actually show you how you can do that without cube rotating. So what you can do is, for this green and red, is U prime, L prime, U, L, and then the corner will be in the slot, and then U, and then you can do lefty inverse sexy to solve the pair. And that's actually a really nice solution to avoid cube rotating for that kind of case. And I use that all the time. And actually here, you've got this blue and orange, and there's a really, really nice solution for this one as well. You can do U, so your corner's over here, and then a sledgehammer, and then insert it into the back. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's really useful, and it's another thing I use all the time. The way you did that was all right, probably. There's a few other ways of doing it, but I think the sledgehammer one's the best. But this one ended up setting up your other pair. Then you've got your OLL, and it will solve your corners. And here's another good example of when the U-perm in the back would be really, really good. So this time this time the cube rotations aren't quite as bad because you don't have to AUF now, but it's still better to avoid cube rotating. But that got you a 1305. actually, so you said you wanted to work on planning your first pair and inspection, and we haven't really gone over that yet. I'd say the way that I go over it depends on whether you want to continue with your sort of free fop style or if you want to switch to more conventional CFOP.
I'm probably back to CFOP.
So with that, the first thing you'd need to do is then get in the habit of planning out your entire cross, which shouldn't be hard to do at your level. And then when it comes to planning your first pair, you can what I usually do is see if there's either a pair already connected or if there are any F2L pieces that aren't going to move much while I do my cross. And those are usually the easiest ones to track. And I try to not just look ahead with them during my cross, but actually predict where they will be after cross. I predict that during my inspection. And it can be hard to predict that, but the best way to learn how to do it is just force yourself to do it every time. And there's some other practice techniques for that we can go over near the end. So here, okay, this one looks a bit easier. Okay, yeah, that was very good. And it sets you up with this pair right away. And you looked ahead into that very well. Then you have this pair. So you're just getting all sorts of really nice pairs. Then you've got blue and red. So this solve is going really, really well. Your look ahead is especially nice on this one, and your F2L solutions are really good. There's a little bit of extra cube rotating there, but it's not a huge problem. And then, yeah, you locked up on this OLL. But your efficiency on this one was excellent. Unfortunately, there's a cube rotation, but again, we can fix that. And it makes sense why that was the best solve in your average, because your F2L was really, really nice. Actually, I'd like to look at that last one at full speed and just see how it looks in terms of like whether or not you're pausing. So it definitely looks like there you're not pausing as much. It's just a little bit of locking up. So yeah, I think if you can get your look ahead a little bit better, so it's like this on most of your solves, you can easily be sub 13 or sub 12 very soon. Okay, this one. Okay, this is another one that looks really easy, actually. Let's see what you did here. Very nice. Yeah, that was especially nice. And there were no cube rotations, and that was really good. So then, Okay, you spot that. And that's the green and orange is a good pair to do there. But you can actually, I went back a little bit too far, but you can actually do that pair from any angle without cube rotating. So you could do that in the back left here. And that's what I recommend doing to save the cube rotation.
I'm pretty sure I didn't see that from that angle.
Oh, yeah. So that's part of the problem with F2L pairs in the back is that they're hard to see. But if you as you get better at spotting that kind of thing and then solving it without cube rotating, that can save a ton of time. So for example, here you've got this pair, which you can solve into the back right. And if you can just spot that and know to solve it into the back right without cube rotating, that would be really fast. And so let's actually see if you did that here. Okay, yeah, you did that there, and that was super fast. And then right away, I think, yeah, you saw that. And then this F2L pair, a little bit more of a pause, but in general, being more efficient in terms of when you do or don't cube rotate can save so much time. Like that's one of the big differences between people at 9 seconds and at 12 seconds. Okay, nice OLL and then T-perm. So yeah, you're definitely doing better in the second half of your average because now you're getting all sorts of 13s. Okay. This one I think is solve number 10 or 11. Cross looks all right. And like if I thought about it for a while, I could probably spot something a bit more efficient than that, but I'd say that was pretty good for in terms of your cross. So then you've got, I think you're doing this blue and red. So it looks like here, I think it's just you're a little bit too quick to just cube rotate for something. So what I would do for this pair, let me go back. So let's say you're from this angle. You've got your corner right here and your edge right here. If you do a U prime and then R, U prime, R prime, then you're set up for a 3-move insert and you can insert that without cube rotating. But I think that you're just a bit too quick to want to just take out this corner and then rotate and then rotate back. So I think part of this is you need to slow down and think about the whole F2L solution before you do any moves. And that can let you be more efficient. So let's see where that leaves you. So actually, you have this blue and you have this green and orange pair, and then that blue and orange, but this green and orange, if you didn't cube rotate there, you could just solve it right away. And that's just another example. I think here with the turning fast, you're just a little bit quick to cube rotate if you don't see anything right away. And you just need to slow down a little bit. It works out here because then you get this blue and orange pair. And here's another example. Let's go back a little bit more. Okay, so here you insert this blue and orange, and then now you have this green and red, which you can solve into the back without cube rotating. And I think so here you're just a little bit too quick to cube rotate to get a better look at it, and that ends up making you have to do 2 extra cube rotations. Okay, then you get this A perm. And that was 15.32. So we've got, okay, so you've got one more, and then we can go over what I think overall, and I can answer any of your questions and anything like that. Yeah, I'm just going to take a second and see what I can spot here for F2L, I mean for cross. Because this yellow doesn't look super easy. Okay, that was really nice, actually. And then it sets you up for this green and red really well. Then you've got blue and orange here, and then blue and red. You can do some advanced stuff, but okay, yeah, you do blue and orange. That was very good. And you've got 2 really easy pairs here, but I think I would do blue and red first, but either one is fine. Okay, you do that. And then again, you don't have to cube rotate to do the green and orange. You can just do it into the back left. And then you do that, and then you get this OLL. That's all good. And you get GC. Oh yeah, and then this is where you did the RUD for it. And that was 1349. And that was your 1350, yeah, or 1380 average of 12. So I think overall, you've got a lot of good stuff. Your F2L efficiency is usually really nice. Your look ahead can be really nice. Your cross is actually good most of the time, I'd say. The one thing that I'm starting to notice is I think both in terms of like your turning speed and in terms of like you making decisions, I think you're going a little bit too fast. So with turning speed, when I went to full speed on that one solve, it showed me that you were actually locking up a decent amount. And I think if you sort of slow down your turning a little bit and turn more smoothly, it will not only help you lock up less, but then that will help you look ahead better as well. So that's one thing. And then with the way you're thinking, it looks like you're trying to just make decisions as fast as possible, which is good, but it can mean that you're not always making the best decisions. So, and the main example of that is what, like I was pointing out, you would cube rotate right after solving an F2L pair when you didn't need to cube rotate to solve your next one. So in order to practice that, what I would do is do some untimed solves, and then after you do each F2L pair, just stop and look around and plan out what you're going to do for your next pair. Plan that out completely and then do the moves. Just like forcing everything you do to be intentional. And that will help your decision making, I think. At first, that will slow you down because it will take longer for you to make decisions, but eventually it will be just as fast, and then you'll be more efficient as well. Because it looks like you know all of the really good F2L solutions. It's just about using them in solves. And then the last thing is just, like we've said, the cube rotations during PLL, which it sounds like you're already working on. So do you have any questions or anything?
Actually, no.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to contact me on Discord or email me again or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for coming on here, man.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
No problem. See you later.